From the honourable member for Fairfax, proposing that a definite matter of public importance be submitted to the House for discussion, namely the government's failure to manage the economy and ease pressure on cost of living. I call upon those honourable members who approve of the proposed discussion to rise in their places, and I give the call to the honourable member for Fairfax.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Let me just start with some truisms. 1. Australia is the greatest country in the world. 2. The Albanese government is the worst government in Australian history. And 3. Only a Dutton-led coalition government can get Australia back on track. As we come towards this next federal election, there's only one key question that Australians really need to ask themselves, and that is, do they feel better today than they did 3 years ago? And even in this chamber, the echo is no. Where the Australian people do answer that question and say, no, we don't feel better, then they know that the last thing they should be doing in the ballot box is to vote for a Labor candidate. But there is one thing worse than another term of the Albanese Labor government, and that's a term of a Labor-Green-Teal minority government. Now, Australians already know, after just one term of this government, that their standard of living has dropped more than in any other developed nation in the world. Bar none. Australians are copying it. Their standard of living has dropped woefully. There is not a developed nation in the world where residents are feeling a drop in their way of life than Australians are. And that is a direct consequence of this Labor government. If you look at the skyrocketing prices from food, from education, from health, from housing, to rent, to insurance, to electricity, to gas, I mean, all of these are at least double-digit rises in prices. In some cases over 20%. In other cases, such as insurance, gas and electricity, over 30%. Prices have gone up. How's that for a track record of just one term in government? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the damage they will wreak on the Australian economy and the Australian people if they're given yet another 3 years? Let alone with the Greens and the Teals as part of a minority government. Now, I think the issue here is the Labor Party does not understand the importance of the economy, nor do they understand how to manage the economy.
Clearly.
They have indeed never worked in the economy. In fact, what you have is the Attorney-General giggling as he leaves in shame because he doesn't have real-world experience. Indeed, what you see, he's coming back now, the Attorney-General. He, like the rest of the front bench, are nothing more. They're nothing more than a sales and marketing department for the CFMEU. And that's what you are. They're chief marketer. You and the rest on the front bench of the Labor Party, nothing more than sales and marketing for the union movement.
Member for Fairfax. Before I give you the call, I've got a few comments to make myself. That is completely out of order behaviour. Member for Page, you were also part of the out-of-order behaviour. So let's not add to the slinging match that just took place. You can make your strong, robust arguments without dissent into that. I'm going to give you the call again, Member for Fairfax. I'd like Member for Isaacs and the Attorney-General to either remain and be orderly or leave the chamber. Is there anything further that the Manager for Opposition Business had to add?
No, Madam Deputy Speaker. I was going to raise the point that the Minister was finding it difficult to control himself, but I think your remarks have dealt with that.
I think the entire House had a little challenge in that regard. So let's try again. We are in MPI, and I do give you latitude for debate. Member for Groom, do you want to kind of join in the Speaker's discussion here, or what? So let's try and stick to the topic, and I give you the call, Member for Fairfax.
As I was saying, this Labor government does not understand how to manage the economy. They do not understand the importance of the economy. The Coalition, on the other hand, we understand that the economy is not an end unto itself, but rather a strong economy is the means by which you underpin strong standard of living. A strong economy is the means by which you can guarantee Australians' way of life. A strong economy is the means by which Australians can pursue whatever it is they wish to pursue. A strong economy is what allows people to buy houses, to afford the rent, to afford to educate the children, to pay for their health care. A strong economy is what allows our broader nation to be strong within a volatile Indo-Pacific. But this Labor government does not understand the importance of a strong economy. Labor sees an economy as nothing more than an ability to take money from taxpayers to play with whatever their latest ideological proclivity might be. Now, we know that right now Australians are actually paying the highest level of income tax than they ever have. Up to 26.1% of people's income by average is being paid out in tax. This has grown enormously under this government, by around about 3%. They are wanting to continue to take people's money. Now, this means that the average Australian ends up being out of pocket by about $3,500 because of this government's tax take. $3,500. Wow. So for a dual couple, for two income makers in one house, that's $7,000. And the thing is that the money they have left after they've given another $7,000 to the Labor Party government, well, they can buy less anyway because everything has gone up because of home-grown inflation by this government. Now, of course, we know that Labor is very proud of the fact that they have already announced a $150 energy relief package as part of the budget they'll announce tonight, something the Coalition will not stand in the way of, because we know under their policies the Australian families are on their knees hurting. We know that Australian businesses are closing at a rapid rate. 29,000 businesses have gone insolvent, in large part due to the failed energy policies of this government, so we will not stand in the way. But let's not kid ourselves as to the business model of this government. I mean, really, the energy relief payments, which now sort of add up to somewhere around about $6.8 billion by this government, energy relief over time. This is nothing but mopping up a failure in energy policy. And yet the Treasurer sells it as a virtue of how wonderful the Labor Party is. Seriously. Here's a modern-day Fagin, taken out of a Charles Dickens novel, teaching the caucus of the Labor Party how to play with their constituents' money. You see, what you do is you sneak up behind them, you take out $150 out of the back pocket, and then you run in front of them and go, ha-ha, here's $150, and you put it in the front pocket. And you say, aren't we great? We're fixing the energy problems. This is their business model. They have no solutions to deal with the problem. And of course we're talking about them paying, Australians paying $3,500 more in tax on average under this government. So it's only $150 they're going to get back in the front pocket. But everything else goes to the ideological dreams of the Labor Party.
Jim's going to take it.
And nobody steals more than the Minister for Climate Change and Energy, just as an aside. I mean, we are talking about tens of billions of dollars on his all-eggs-in-one-basket renewables-only program, a program that is already driving Australian businesses to the wall. We are seeing industries close. We are seeing regional Australian economies hollowing out. We are seeing manufacturers closing their doors and relocating to Asia as a direct consequence of these policies. Now, they want to close down baseload power stations. They want to suffocate gas. Their renewables program is running at half the pace that they promised it would. So Australians are now paying among the highest prices for electricity in the world. This is a direct consequence of this Labor government. This is cost of living pain directly caused by this Labor government. Their only solutions, by the way, to energy are, number one, keep going for an 82% renewables energy grid. Number two, they want green hydrogen. It was in the paper today. It's going to require a doubling of the grid to deliver on that dream. And number three, they want to now import natural gas. This is their solution. It is a disgrace.
Time has expired, and I give the call.